I was asked, what do I think about a, a relationship um, with two people that both have avoidant personality disorder. It was actually just, what do you think of a relationship? And I could totally cop out and say, well, let's talk about being friends. Um, but I think I've already done that in the video. Um, and that clearly was not the intention of the question. Um, I have been told again and again, by therapists especially, that um, basically their advice is that I don't interact with anyone who has avoidant personality disorder, that I don't let them be my friends, etc. And the reason is because avoidant type behaviors are very triggering to me. The abandonment stuff is terribly triggering, but yet avoidant people, they have to have distance. And so trying to negotiate that, trying to be aware of what the other person needs and yet keep my own avoidant tendencies in check is incredibly difficult. That said, I mean, that is the key. That's it right there. Is keeping them in check. This person said that they had no relationship with a borderline person. Beyond super common. Why? Because avoidant people need to know that somebody likes them in order to have any sort of relationship with them. Borderline people are way, way massive, beyond over the top, and yeah, been there. My son's father, not my father. Ugh, my father. No, my son's father is borderline. I didn't find out about this until last year. My kid is 16 years old. And as soon as I heard the word, it was like thunderstruck. Boom. Oh, duh, obviously. And I went, oh, damn, another one? You know, is every single person I was ever involved with in my life borderline? Does that explain everything? Yeah, borderline's not good for avoidant people. I mean, it seems like it on surface because you've got somebody who is going to make sure that you're aware of how exactly important. Why are you so important to a person with borderline personality disorder? It's because they have actually no sense of self at all. Somebody described it to me. It was genius. It's like a jelly bean without the gel inside, just the shell, and absolutely fragile and can collapse at any moment. So you need to have somebody else to fill in. And that's why they seem like chameleons, like, oh, you like this? Well, I like this too, and etc., etc. It's really annoying, especially when they get like, I mean, it seems like it's dependent. It's not. It's abusive attachment, because they feel like they cannot live without somebody explaining how or who they are. So yeah, borderlines, ugh. But other avoidants, who I have massive sympathy for, it is hard, beyond hard. Now, I've not had a relationship with a person that's avoidant, and I have actually never heard of a couple that has avoidant personality disorder, both of them. That does not mean it doesn't exist. That just means it's really hard. Why is it hard? Because you've first got to get over the idea of, is this person going to like me or not? And an avoidant person won't put that forward. It's almost unheard of that you've got somebody. I mean, you do a bit eventually, but it takes forever. It's not like you're going to go to a bar and find another avoidant person, though. Highly unlikely that you would find somebody. Um, so that's problem number one, is just meeting each other is huge. Um, Once you do that, then you've got to deal with their quirks. Um, because the biggest, absolutely can't talk today. The biggest necessity, I think, is that you're both not completely aligned and a perfect match as far as how your voice is, but you're also compatible. So it's sort of like an opposites attract, but can tolerate the opposition, if that makes any sense. Because if you do have two avoidant people that want to just stay home, I mean, which obviously a lot of avoidant people, but I mean, there's difference between being an avoidant homebody and being full-blown agoraphobic. And people on that have there's sort of, there's a range there for people with avoidant personality disorder. So basically, um, if you are the type that wants to stay home all the time, you've got to have somebody who's going to be willing to pull you out some, but not past your comfort zone. That's really important. If you've got somebody who really, like, I do not do well in a traditional work type situation. Like, I actually had a doctor tell me point blank, you are not allowed to ever work in a office cubicle job ever again for any purpose. No way, can't do it. If you got two people that really are not able to because the thing is, there are avoidant jobs, and I've talked about this before, and there are people that do really well, and I'm one of the people that I do better if I can get out of the house and interact with people. If I stay home for too much, then I basically like lose too much, um, uh, sort of the gains that I've made, and also because I'm avoidant and I want to be around people, and it's like I get a hit off of being around people even if I don't interact with them. So I really have to get out of the house, even though I work from home, so I don't have to get out of the house, but I really have to get out of the house. Now, if you've got two people that are like that, that really doesn't work. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, recovering from being ill still. Anyway, because the thing is that they'll mirror each other and just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The other thing is huge and massive is the push-pull between needing to sort of be alone and needing to not feel abandoned. And that's pretty much impossible to deal with. I mean, eventually, if you know somebody long enough, then you can get that and negotiate that. But the big problem is if somebody is truly going through a phase where they have to pull back, because again, I've described it as a pendulum. Sometimes you're closer to people and sometimes you have to pull away. And massive irony, the more somebody knows about you, a lot of times the less comfortable you will be with them. That it's just people with avoidant personality disorder want to be able to mind read other people. They can't stand that they're being tricked out themselves, and that people can figure out what's going on with them. That is a hard negotiation. And there is only probably literally one person in this world that I've ever come across who the negotiation is there, and it is my oldest friend, who I interact with a couple times a year. Um, and I've known since, I mean, literally, I think I was 4 when we ran into each other the first time. I mean, all our life. And actually has it. The reason why it works is that we don't have, it's like we've got this long history and almost no contemporary interaction at all. I have no idea what's going on. And of course, like right recently, this person has come back, and I'm really pushing against the avoidant "I will have nothing to do with you" thing, because I've got stuff going on in my life, and a lot of stuff going on in my life, and and it sounds like a soap opera. But like, I can't believe it. Now what happened? Oh my goodness, more stuff has happened. It's like, people are really interested in finding out what's going on, and I get questioned about it a lot, and it's like, no, we don't really want to talk about it most of the time. Sometimes I will, and then but that's the problem, is then people want to know what's next, and I'm really, really pushing against the urge to not communicate at all. Although I gotta say, this person's genius. One of the things I gotta say that really helps that friendship is because this friend of mine lives on the other side of the country. We were talking 8-hour flight. Other side of the world, that's even better. That there's no way that I could ever have somebody drop in the house for a cup of coffee when I'm in the middle of my avoidant issues. But this is a genius way to have a friend who is avoidant, to offer them to come, for the avoidant friend to come to them, versus the other way around, because it feels like a burden if somebody's like, oh, I'm going to come and take care of you. No. But hey, anytime you want, come on out and we'll have a little break from reality. Genius suggestion. That's great. But that is 4 decades of figuring out how I work, to know that that's the type of thing that you should be able to ask. And I've heard of other long-term friendships where the other person just gets that the avoidant person needs to disappear for a while. But those are friendships. So I don't know how it would work. On paper, it would look terrible. Like I said, I have been advised to not even be friendly with people who have avoidant personality disorder. But that's my therapist, who are grasping at straws on how to fix me. I don't know. I think that it could be great, but I think that it would be a massive amount of work, and I think that it would be less work with somebody who did not have a personality disorder at all, but completely understood what was going on. So, I don't know if I answered the question, because I'm sort of like hedging. Because I would love for for me to be able to put my stamp of approval on it. And I've heard jokes before about there should be an avoidant personality disorder dating site specifically. And how that would be awesome, but it wouldn't work at all, and then it would kill people's self-esteem, that they can't even get an avoidant person to like them. Because I've been there too. Not on a romantic, but even on a friendship, like, being rejected by somebody who has avoidant personality disorder, who completely knows what I'm going through. Yeah, I am worse than dirt. Yeah, that's a little real. Anyway, so I'm sorry this isn't, like, I don't really have any advice at all. But again, the chances are so slim. When are you going to find somebody? Right? So, good luck if you do. And I would love to hear if there's anybody actually out there. But they're really, really rare. And I really doubt that I'm going to have someone say, yeah, both of us, diagnosis. Probably one of them is borderline and is pretending to be avoidant.